Chapter 12. A Mix-Up. For nearly half an hour, the Happy Hollisters tried to figure out what the note on Domingo had meant and who YIF was. They could come to no conclusion, except that he probably lived in Shoreham. "Oh, I know," Ricky giggled. "YIF means Yiminy in Forum." "No, it's Yump in Front," Holly called out, doubling up at her own joke. Finally, Mr. Hollister said it was high time for all funny little people to be in bed. So the children went upstairs. When the older youngsters protested, Mrs. Hollister said they might talk for a while longer in their rooms. The following day dawned clear and cold. After church services, the Hollisters ate dinner, then settled down to read. Pete had hardly finished one chapter in his book when the telephone rang. He got up to answer it. "Uncle Russ!" Pete exclaimed. "Where are you?" The other children gathered at the telephone, and Pete repeated what their uncle was saying. "He's only 50 miles away," Pete whispered. Pete was silent a few moments, then he grinned. "You have a surprise for us, you say. What is it?" Everyone waited while their brother listened. Finally, he said, "Oh, please tell us what it is." Again there was silence. Then an expression flashed across Pete's face as if someone had dropped ice water down his neck. It was followed by a broad grin. "That's great. Wait till Dad hears this. We'll see you later. Goodbye." He hung up. "Uncle Russ," said Pete slowly, "has a Santa Claus sleigh and reindeer for us." Mr. Hollister whistled. "Our missing outfit?" "It didn't say," Pete answered, "but it must be." The children danced around, asking 100 questions. Where had he found it? How was he bringing it? In a trailer or a truck? For the next 2 hours, all the Hollisters waited impatiently for their relatives to arrive. Finally, just as the sun was setting and Pam was riding Domingo up and down the yard, they heard 3 toots of an automobile horn. A car turned into the drive. "Here they are," Pam shouted, sliding off the burro's back. Pete, Ricky, Holly, and Sue raced outside to meet the visitors. As Uncle Russ stopped the car, the Hollisters realized he had not brought the Santa Claus outfit with him. After greetings were over, Ricky asked him where it was. "Your Santa Claus and reindeer?" his good-looking uncle asked. "I don't know about yours, but Aunt Marge brought one of her own." It was the Hollisters' turn to be mystified. "What do you mean?" Ricky questioned. "You'll soon find out, Rick. But what's this about your Santa?" Pete quickly explained the theft from the roof of the trading post. "I'm sorry to hear that," Uncle Russ said, opening the door and stepping out of the car. He was tall and slender and looked very much like the Happy Hollister's dad, though he was younger. Uncle Russ was just as full of fun as his brother. He drew comics for a newspaper strip and had a big boat, which the Shoreham Hollisters once had used on a river trip. "It's too bad our Santa outfit is gone," he said, "but maybe Aunt Marge's surprise will cheer you all up a bit." Aunt Marge stepped out of her side of the car, carrying a big white box. She was pretty and had a humorous twinkle in her eyes. "I'll show you what's in this box after we unpack," she promised. As they headed for the door, Jean and Teddy spied Domingo, who had been standing patiently on the sidelines. "Oh, what a cute burro!" Jean exclaimed, running over and stroking the animal's nose. Jean had straight chestnut hair and dimples. Like Pam, she loved animals, and had 2 cocker spaniels and a pony of her own. "Where'd you get the burro?" she asked. Pam told her, and let Jean take a short ride. Teddy came to help his sister get off and stood close to Domingo, stroking him. Teddy was 11, 2 years older than his sister. He looked something like Pete, except that he was shorter and had black hair and gray eyes. Suddenly, the boy felt a tug on his coat and looked down. The mischievous burro had torn off a button and was holding it in his mouth. "Oh, you naughty!" Sue cried, as Teddy tried to get the button back. But Domingo would not give it up. Each child coaxed him. The little donkey kept pulling his head up as they tried to open his mouth. "Please don't eat the button," Jean begged. "Mother could never match it." "Oh, don't worry about that," said Pam. "Burros never swallow anything they shouldn't. I'll tell you what, let's pretend we're leaving. Maybe Domingo will drop the button." Pam was right. The instant the children started for the back porch, the burro lost his teasing look and sadly opened his mouth. His play toy fell to the ground. Teddy dashed back and picked it up. Then Pete put Domingo in his stall and the children went into the house. As soon as overcoats, caps, mittens, and boots had been carefully stowed away in the hall closet, Aunt Marge said, "Now for the surprise." She opened the big white box and lifted out a miniature Santa Claus sitting in a sleigh drawn by 8 tiny reindeer. "Oh, how pretty," Pam said. A hungry look came into Ricky's eyes. "Can we eat it, Aunt Marge?" he asked. This made Jean and Teddy laugh. "You guessed it," Jean said. "Mother made this out of cake and candy, but we didn't think you'd guess so soon." "When may we eat it?" Holly asked, touching Santa's marshmallow beard with her forefinger. "Tonight for dessert if you wish," Aunt Marge said, laughing. "That is, if your mother says yes." "Indeed, yes," Mrs. Hollister replied. "I can hardly wait to try it myself." In a little while, the Hollisters of Shoreham and the Hollisters from Crestwood were seated at the dining room table, with the dessert as a centerpiece. Pete and Pam had inserted another leaf in the table, making it large enough for the whole group. Yum," Sue said, when it came time for dessert. "I want to eat a reindeer's head." Her mother said she might help herself. Sue reached over and snap! Off came the lead deer's head. Sue held it in her chubby hand and started nibbling at the antlers. Holly picked off Santa Claus's bag of toys, made of chocolate cake and candy. It's delicious," she told her aunt. Pam ate half of Santa, and Jean the other half. Ricky took the sleigh to nibble on, and Pete decided on a reindeer. This left the other animals for the grown-ups. When Mr. Hollister finished his, he declared he had enjoyed it down to the last hoof. As they finished eating Aunt Marge's masterpiece, Pam told the visitors about their school pageant, Christmas in Different Lands. Ricky said, "Our class is going to show Christmas in Norway." "How interesting," Aunt Marge remarked. "I was in Norway once at Christmas time." "You were?" Pam said. "Please tell us about it." Aunt Marge said that when she was a little girl, about Pam's age, her father had gone to Norway on a business trip and had taken her with him. "The thing I liked best about the Norwegian Christmas," she said, "was all the delicious food, which the people start to make weeks before Christmas, especially the animal-shaped cookies. And one thing I'll never forget," Aunt Marge continued, "was that during the holidays the Norwegian children give their cattle extra food because they were in the manger on the very first Christmas day. And besides that, the birds are remembered too." "You mean the birds get Christmas presents?" Holly asked. "Yes, indeed," Aunt Marge replied. "In every Norwegian dooryard at Christmas time there stands a pole, and bound to the top of it is a sheaf of wheat. This is the birds' Christmas tree." "Isn't that nice?" Pam said. "Do the birds come and eat the wheat?" Aunt Marge replied that they did. The birds flocked to pick at the seeds. "Then we ought to try it ourselves sometime," Pam replied. "Every bird and animal should enjoy Christmas." "And Julnissa, too," said Sue. "Oh, you know about the little dwarfs?" Aunt Marge said. "They're cute, in their red knitted caps with the hanging tassel, white coats, and red trousers." "Did you ever see one?" Sue asked her. No, but I have left food, some rice pudding. Aunt Marge's eyes twinkled. He ate it, too. Oh, I wish I could see one, Sue sighed. During the evening, Uncle Russ's family was told about the various things which had happened in Shoreham recently. Teddy was particularly interested in the mysterious notes found on Domingo. Jean wondered about the contest, and also what the trading post was going to do about gifts for the poor children to take the place of the ones that had been stolen. I don't know, Pam said, looking at her father. Mr. Hollister was thoughtful a few seconds, then he snapped his fingers. If the Santa outfit isn't found by tomorrow morning, I'll put a big canvas bag in my store window and replace the stolen articles myself, he said. Then I'll ask people to donate more gifts to the bag. We'll carry through with our project even without the sleigh and reindeer. Good for you, Dad, Pam cried, hugging her father. Soon it was bedtime, and all the children were about to say good night when the telephone rang. Pete answered. The caller was Officer Cowell, who said the police had picked up the first bit of evidence in the missing Santa Claus case. Oh, what is it? Cried Pete excitedly.